Alex on balls.
One of the top pundits and the person who beats...
I think the top pundit, actually.
The top pundit.
Bradley.
The top pundit. 12 years...
How are you, sir?
Can you, bud?
Good, man. I think Bradley's, the way he analyzes the game, he's a lot more passionate and, yeah, it's fantastic. And you can see that through his coaching because you're in the final against Amatux. Well done.
But thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a long road, and we're just fortunate and happy enough to be involved one more week, eh?
And your players confident you can win it. Well, obviously, you are confident you can win it. What's the feeling in the camp like?
Yeah, the feeling's good, Mark. But unfortunately, what everyone just sees on the outside is not a true reflection of the inside. I mean, we played Monday night, the semi-final. We've had to play Tuesday night in our regional local league. We've just been told now we have to play on Saturday afternoon in our first round of the SAB League, which is the SAFA-registered league, the Castle League. So there's a hell of a lot going on between Monday to Monday.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're just going to have to try and manage things as best as we can because we want to remain competitive in all the formats we're playing in.
Mate, what you've done with UJ is what you told me you'd do. It must be 2-3 years ago now when you were getting all that together and fixing it up. To get UJ to the final... That's a big thing. What kind of crowds are you going to get, do you think?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's been reasonably impressive at the UJ Soweto campus. I mean, it's a fantastic facility, and they've got a decent grandstand, on the one side. So, and that was packed on Monday night. So we're expecting hopefully a couple more. Obviously, there was quite a lot of presence last week in the semi-final with Francois Pienaar, Fikile Mbulula was there, the sports minister. So it was quite nice. It was a good vibe. The AKA was playing there before the game, and I believe he's doing so this Monday again as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of excitement, and hopefully our boys, whenever there's glitz and glamour, our boys seem to have the right temperament going about it. So hopefully they can pick up to the level one more time and just end off on a high note.
Absolutely, mate. You will be putting some of those UJ players forward, I would have thought, for trials with some of the professional sides. How far off? So what are you, 3 years of promotions off a potential NFD spot, or is it 2 years to NFD from where you are?
Yeah, look, I mean, the Castle League is then, if you get into those playoffs, then it's the ABC Motsepe League and then the NFD. So, I mean, if you went back-to-back, this year we finished second behind Kaizer Chiefs in that format. Witwat were behind us in third position. So, in our first season in the SAB League, we did really well. And again, where do you put your focus? Where do you lay your eggs in which baskets? Because I know the university thrives on educational stature within the institution, of which they have every right to be, and I want to support the varsity educational side point of view as well from a sporting activity. So, SAB doesn't really mean much to them, but for every footballer, they know that's the channel to professional football. But now varsity sports have come in and thrown this fantastic initiative together. So the boys get a lot of exposure. There's media presence, there's TV presence. So, it's perfect for them, and it's a great platform because if you have a look at the exposure that these boys are getting, even professionals in the NFD don't even get the exposure. So they're just thriving on this 9-week experience, or now we're taking it into the 10th week or whatever, and the boys are running with it. So I'm quite gracious. But they are realists, and they know there's a lot, between them and professionals. They know the work rate it goes, into a professional lifestyle. We played against only professional teams in our build-up to the Varsity Cup. So our whole preseason we played professional clubs, and they could see the difference, of which probably grounded them again and made them work even harder. And now they're bearing the fruits of that.
I think they've obviously got someone to emulate you as a coach and as a player. They've got someone really to look up to. But when you talk about playing in the Breweries League on Saturday and then on Monday, do you generally use the same squad, or are you able to throw in a couple of players and change? And which one at the moment? So are you saying at the moment the Varsity Cup final is more important for the team than your first league game on Saturday?
Look, I'm saying it's from an institution point of view. If I speak to the HOD of sports at the university, and I say we've got a game on Saturday, how should we approach this one, or a cup final on Monday? I think it's clear in anybody's eyes. We just need to focus on the Monday night game because that's the one that gives us all exposure. We've come so far to throw it away now. It would be really disappointing. And in the SAB League, we've got it's a marathon. There's another 31 games to go. And hopefully we can manage that accordingly. We just have to have a look as well in terms of our registrations and our cards. We are forced to play certain, prerequisite of players under 21s on the field at all times. And we're still awaiting our registration cards from SAFA. So we're just waiting to see who we can actually play and who they've registered on time. So, it's a bit of a gamble. It's a bit of a surprise every time we kick off. I remember last year or a year ago, we were playing with 8 players on the field because we couldn't, or I don't know whose fault it was, but we couldn't get cards registered on time, or we didn't get cards released on time, or what have you. So the first few match days of any league in that department is always a bit of a lottery. It's always a bit of a gamble. So you just take it with a pinch of salt. But hopefully this year it's done a lot better.
Yeah, great stuff. Bradley, your UJ stuff is one thing. The fact is that even after last night, good performance from Bafana, I thought a draw's okay. In 10 attempts against Nigeria, you were one of the fortunate people who played in 2004 under Stuart Baxter, I think, as Bafana coach. And you can say on your CV that you're one of the Bafana players that actually beat Nigeria, which I don't think Mark Fish can say. Can
no, I can't. I drew against them, but I'm fortunate not to be in that team or the teams that were called the 4x4s when they lost 4-0 to Zim and Nigeria. I wasn't there, but yeah, Bradley, you're one of the fortunate players that have beaten the Super Eagles.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't think it's anything to be, back in that stage. I spoke about it. Somebody asked me about it yesterday, and I didn't feel it was anything special, during that time. I just thought that we were very confident of ourselves. We were very confident of going into that fixture. I remember it quite clearly. So, and we didn't fear anybody back then. I think we had a very good squad from the, around about the 2002 to 2004 mark. I thought we had a decent squad when you had a lot of guys applying their trade in top leagues all over the world, whether it was Benny McCarthy, Quinton Fortune, Sean Bartlett, yourself, who's still overseas and what have you. So, we had a good contingent of players playing overseas. And you saw last night with Andile Jali, he was a very good player here. But just going overseas, it just mans you up a little bit. It just matures you a little bit, and it just gives you somehow a more sense of confidence playing against other opposition. I mean, he did very, very well against Mikel in the middle of the park there. So, there's always this club versus country issue, and hopefully people have seen now that even if you're playing in Belgium or Sweden or wherever it might be, it's a very good education of football, and it's a very good, learning curve, and it gives you loads of confidence coming to play back here, and it's nice to play in front of your home fans again.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad, when you pick out that side, and what did you achieve? How did you get to a place where you start to feel like you're not scared of anyone? Because I got the impression at the start of yesterday's game, the Sheikhs has already instilled a little bit of that in Bafana.
Yeah, no, you could see the way they were keeping the ball, sometimes a little bit too, how can I say, arrogant in their approach in terms of one-touch football. They try to do a lot of that one-touch football, and it looked good at certain times, but then you lose the ball in certain key areas, and then all of a sudden it's quite dangerous because Matlava is slightly pushed forward, and the defensive structure gets a little bit upset because you're enjoying the ball so much. So, I thought it was fantastic, the way they knocked the ball about. And I also saw a different fight in the team. There seems to be a good team spirit at the moment, and it's a fairly new team. So it's a bunch of guys that are very confident and very excited to play for this Bafana team. You have a guy like Masango who, didn't have his best game last night, but he's had a fantastic month domestically. And you could see the type of presence, and everyone's working, and the work rate's good. And I just thought it's a fantastic sort of vibe in the team, and that's first and foremost for me. And no matter what players you got on the park, and no matter how much talent you got on the park, if you have the vibe and the relationship correct, and everyone working for everyone, and there's no egos, and there's no there's no sort of hiccups thinking that I'm better than you and I'm earning more than you. There's none of that at the moment. So there's none of that tension in the squad, of which I feel is great, and it's helping the players on the field.
Yeah, Brad, listen, mate, when you look at that, have you ever considered Bafana technical director? What qualifications have you, how far up the UFA poll have you gone with coaching?
Yeah, no, I'm still entry level in terms of the coaching badge. Obviously, through my involvement at in the Bundesliga, I think the recommendation there for 8 years of your involvement, you get the UEFA C badge basically gifted to you. So I'm making my inroads now to go over to Germany, but there's a lot of paperwork and there's a lot of requirements, what's necessary there from a logistics point of view, and sometimes just in terms of booking. I can only have a look now in 2015 during the year when might be a possible time, but then also your daily life takes over. You've got super sport work to take care of, you've got university work to take care of. I mentor some youngsters individually within the professional game, so it's a really lot on my plate at the moment, and it's about a 2-3 week course standing between me and the UEFA B, and then I have to coach that team for a year or so, and then I can get my UEFA A, which is another month's course or what have you. So obviously I would like to get to UEFA A at this moment in time, so which is about a year and a half, 2 years away, if I stick to my guns and go with it. But yes, the bug has certainly bitten, and I'm enjoying this being on the field again. I'm enjoying being there and just trying to give back to some of the youngsters what I've learned and experienced, and I'm sure Mark feels the same.
Well, I don't do what you do, but I certainly do think it's great seeing you on the field, and long may continue. And let's hope that you get your UEFA A license as quick as possible, because we'll certainly see you as not only future under 17 or under 20, 23 national team coach, but who knows? I know you as an individual and a character that you're aiming to maybe one day be Bafana coach, because you certainly got the credentials, the passion and desire. But I do beg you, don't jump up and down and shout like I see some of the coaches, and don't age. Please, Bradley, don't age over a period of time. It hasn't aged. No, he hasn't aged
about
yet.
28
Yeah, because he's working at the university. He's still young.
Is that what it is? Yeah, that does help.
Bollocks on Balls.
Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Balls.co.za.